want to sing Ahead by a Century. That's by the Tragically Hip. Ah, here it is. Good, good, good. All right, here we go. First thing we climb a tree, and maybe then we talk, or sit silently and listen to our thoughts. Illusions of someday, cast in a golden light. No dress rehearsal, this is our life. And that's where the hornet stung me, and I had a feverish dream with revenge and doubt. Tonight we smoke them out. You are ahead by a century. You are ahead by a century. You are ahead by a century. Stare in the morning shroud, and then the day began. I tilted your cloud, you tilted my hand. Rain falls in real time, and rain fell through the night. No dress rehearsal, this is our life. Well, that's when the hornet stung me, and I had a serious dream with revenge and doubt. Tonight we smoke them out. You are ahead by a century. 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 And disappointing you is getting me down. Hydrate or drive? Absolutely. That is good. Dihydrogen oxide. That is very, very good. Dihydrogen oxide.
Are those squirrels up there already? Oh my goodness. They never stop. Hey, good afternoon. All right. Hello everyone. This is Double Triple Channel on Twitch, streaming live from New Hampshire. My name is Ron. I live in New Hampshire, in rural New Hampshire. I'm surrounded by forests here. Lots of wild animals. And I stream on Twitch. I stream mostly science and technology stuff, but occasionally, usually on Mondays, I stream news stuff, civics, that sort of thing. I also do IRLs every once in a while. Vegan stuff occasionally. I play the geography game. Maybe I'll do that again today. I did that last time and messed it up. Lot of stuff. So let me see what the headline today. Let's see if I got it right here. What did I say? Okay, astronauts stuck in space. Who's buying Paramount? Elections in South Sudan. Okay, so I've just got some news things I put up there. That's what I want to do today. Talk about news stuff. First, let's look at the weather, right? That's what we do first. So let's see if I can bring that up here. This is always interesting to see if I can get this technical stuff to work properly. Is that right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Look at that. There's a weather chart. We always got to start with the weather. So let's see what we got here. Is my pointer working? Yep, my pointer's working. Okay, this is the United States. This is where I am. I'm over here in New Hampshire. This little thing right here. For those of you in other parts of the world who aren't familiar with all the little states in the U.S., I'm in New Hampshire, this little one right here. And there's these several states here called New England, because they were the first colonies in the U.S. when the United States got its start politically. Those were the first colonies, New England. When they got established, when people from Europe came over. There were others before that, of course. The Vikings came; they were over here somewhere, and the native peoples came through Alaska. But so here we are. The weather reports, they says there's a big L here, right, for low. L means low. Low pressure means there's going to be some action, something, usually. Look at big thunderstorms up here in Minnesota and South Dakota and Wisconsin and up that way, I guess. And rain and thunderstorms. All this is rain and thunderstorms. So all this area here is all rain and thunderstorms. And we got these little squiggly lines here with blue triangles and these red things, half circles, I guess. So, lots of stuff going on. Let me see what the local weather report is. Portland, Maine. I don't know why they picked Maine here for this, but that's not where I am. Let me type in. See if that gives me something else. No. Okay, well, we'll just go with this then, I guess. Mill Hollow. I don't even know where that is. Where's Mill Hollow? I don't even know where that is. Oh, I see. That's, is that Mill Hollow? That's Mill Hollow. I've never even heard of that before. It's pretty close to where I am, so I don't know. Let's see here. Let me zoom out. Whoop. Let's see if it says anything here. All right. This isn't really showing much. It's just showing a map. Satellite, ocean. Well, the forecast for this area is today scattered showers and thunderstorms before 3 p.m. Then showers likely and possible, a thunderstorm between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. So it's pretty sunny right now. You see this right here? See this thing spinning right here? Let me bring this back up here again so you can see this. See that thing spinning there? That means the sun is out. If that thing's spinning, we've got some sun, maybe a little bit of clouds. It's spinning kind of slow, so that means there's some clouds. When it's spinning really fast, it means there's sun. That's my air purifier. You can look at my VODs, my previous streams, to see what that's about. But it's a solar air purifier, and that little fan there spins when the sun is hitting the solar panel outside. So it's kind of sunny out there right now. I mean, a little bit of clouds, but mostly sunny. So we'll see how it goes through the broadcast here and see if it gets rainier. And then it says partly sunny with a high near 77. That's what we got, I guess. Calm winds becoming north around 5 miles per hour. Chance of precipitation is 60%. New rainfall amounts of less than 1/10 of an inch. Well, how can you have thunderstorms and have rainfall of less than 1/10 of an inch? That doesn't make sense. This is the U.S. Weather Service. Tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m., then isolated showers between 9 and 10, patchy fog after 1, otherwise mostly cloudy, and then gradually becoming mostly clear, with a low around 57. Yeah, it's supposed to get cooler tonight, which is good. That's always good when you're in August. And then it's going to get warm again later in the week. So that's the forecast. I don't know why we can't get oh, here we go. Here's some radar maps. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. Rutland. What we got? Let me see if I can zoom this out. No, I guess not. Pan. I can pan. But I don't see a zoom here. This is for Burlington. Let's go over this way. So yeah, see there are little lots of this green and orange and red and yellow. That's rain. Now, I haven't seen any rain so far today here where I am. Let's see, where am I at? Oh, I'm up this way a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. Huh. I wish you could zoom this out. There's no way to zoom this out, I guess. Okay, well, that's the weather. All right. So, wet, little maybe thunderstorms. You may even be able to hear them. So that's the weather. Today I wanted to go through and kind of talk about what media is talking about, what they think is important. Our local station here, WMUR, is that's the TV station. They're basically the TV station in New Hampshire for news. They're kind of it. You can also, there's WCAX in Vermont that is like a major TV station too, and they kind of cover this area a little bit. I'm right at the border between New Hampshire and Vermont, so either of those stations, kind of cover the stuff that happens around here. But WMUR. Local news is really kind of pretty much very much deteriorated in the U.S. They're owned by big companies usually. Last I heard, WMUR was owned by Hearst, big media company. Owns a lot of stations. So when I first moved here, I was really impressed with the local news here, because they covered the candidates fairly and lots of stuff like that, and but they don't do that so much anymore. So they kind of are a little biased in my opinion. So they covered today. What they covered was they covered weather, of course. They covered a bunch of local crashes over the weekend. A lot of deadly crashes over the weekend. They're always in the summertime. There are every day almost there's somebody getting killed on a motorcycle because they're not wearing a helmet. We don't have a helmet law in New Hampshire, and they have an event which I think happened earlier called Bike Week or Motorcycle Week or whatever in Laconia, and it attracts motorcyclists from all over the area, just all over the northeastern part of the U.S. And they come here, and a lot of them don't wear helmets, and they die, because they crash and they die. So that happens a lot. And then there were some car wrecks too, and that was a big deal that they covered. There was a drunk driver who was arrested. They covered that for some reason. I don't know why. They talked about Polaris. Polaris is taking off, I guess, tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll look that up, see what that's about. They had an apple juice recall. They talked about a landslide in Alaska. I don't know. Some bodies discovered somewhere. Double homicide. That doesn't happen very often around here. We don't have a lot of homicides in New Hampshire. Not a lot of crime, really. But they talked about double homicide, so that's kind of news. Here where I'm at, in the little town I'm in, we get homicides are so rare. We have a homicide once every 10 years approximately in this little town that I'm in. So yeah, not a lot of crime here. Every once in a while, somebody will get drunk and drive or something, or somebody will, domestic violence, or something like that. Occasionally, they're rare though. Let's see. They were talking about there's a hurricane in Hawaii, I guess. They were talking about FEMA. We had some floods here. Remember I was talking about some of my other streams, how much rain we had gotten here. And, some places got flooded out, and then they file with FEMA, to get money or something. And so they were talking about that FEMA, there were so many claims or whatever, they opened up an office apparently. So they were talking about that. They talked about National Dog Day. That local news does that. Any animal story they can do, to put a cute animal up on the screen. That's what they like to do, Their interest really isn't in informing people. Their interest is in getting people to watch the channel so they can sell advertising. That's local news. That's what it's about. Anything, in terms of, informing people or making the citizens better or anything like that, that's not the priority. The priority is to get eyeballs in front of the TV and sell advertising. That's their goal. So what else they talk about? They talked about mosquitoes. Mosquitoes around here do carry diseases. Talked about back to school. Well, they talked about a state rep. There was a state rep, I guess, who said bad things about some drag queens that were in a library or something. I don't know anything about the story, but anyway, apparently they settled the case. The drag queens sued the state rep for saying bad things about them, and apparently they settled. What else? They had sports. They had dolphins. They talk about, actual dolphins, in the ocean. Apparently there are dolphins in the ocean up here in New Hampshire for some reason. Probably global warming, They did some consumer news. They do that a lot. They like to do consumer news. They talk about people spending money because advertisers like to hear that, They try to get people to spend money because advertisers want people to spend money, so they like to do that. And they talked about a bobcat fight. They had a video of a bobcat fight, and that was it. That was their news. As far as I could tell, they didn't talk about Russia attacking Ukraine, big attacks in Ukraine, or Israel and Lebanon fighting, or the separatists in Pakistan, or the Canadian rail strike, or the possibility that Paramount might be taken over by a billionaire. They did talk. I think they talked about the space, the astronauts getting stuck in space, and they did talk about Polaris launching. But other than that, you can tell just by the kind of stuff that they were covering there. You know, if you're watching local news, you're not getting informed. Just that's the way it is. You're not learning that much about what's going on in the world. So that was local news. What else? I got some stuff in my email about Cornel West. You know, I tried to volunteer for his campaign, and they didn't even call me back. So I don't think they're working. There's something screwed up there. But they every once in a while they send me an email, and they were doing something. So let me see if I can find his if I have anything on him, on his. Okay, let's see. All right, I'll just go to the Wikipedia page. That's good enough. Let's see if I can get that up here. No, that didn't work. There we go. Okay, I think that's it. There we go. Okay, so this is Cornel West. West Abdullah. Alina or Melina, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Abdullah. And Cornel West. They are running for president. You probably don't know that. You probably never heard of them. Well, Cornel West you probably heard of. Maybe. If you're well informed, you probably heard of him. But he's running for president. And the big thing that's going on that I keep getting emails from him is trying to get ballot access. That's a big problem in the United States. Not only do this, we have the Republicans and Democrats, but then there are a whole bunch of other people who run too, and nobody ever talks about them, or mainstream old media never talks about them. But most people in the U.S., what is it, 70% of people don't want either of the two major candidates from the Republicans or the Democrats. Yet the media don't spend any time talking about the other candidates. So that's weird, right? Isn't that kind of weird? That most people don't want the two Republican or Democrat, but media doesn't talk about these other candidates. What they usually do is they'll, like a year or 8 months before the election, they'll have some story about him or something, or they'll invite him on or something for a little bit, on a Monday morning or Friday afternoon or something, somewhere where they, when they don't have a big audience, and that way they can say, "Oh yeah, we covered them," That's basically what happens. But Cornel West, they're not talking about him at all. So he's running as a People's Party candidate. I don't know what the People's Party is. I think they're probably socialist or something. I don't know. But yeah. So he when I get emails from him, it's usually talking about trying to get on the ballot. The media's not going to talk about him, but he's trying to get on the ballot, and there's a big problem of ballot access in the United States. The other parties do everything they can to keep other people off the ballot, and you don't hear about that, do you? It's a big deal. It's a big problem. The libertarians have problems with that too. They've probably been the most successful in getting ballot access. But you would think, that seems like something that's kind of basic to democracy, is that if somebody wants to run for office, you should be allowed to be on the ballot, you know? But it doesn't happen in the U.S. because we don't really have democracy anymore. So that's kind of a problem. That's a big problem. It's a huge problem. So we need to have a revolution to take down this regime and reinstall a government that is an actual democracy, you know, a government that actually cares about the people. That's what we need to do. You know, a peaceful revolution. Most revolutions now are peaceful, right? They're, you know, people go on the street and protest and force the government to resign, and they you know, they do another new constitution or whatever it is to start something new, you know. So the news he had was that he got on a ballot in Michigan. Apparently he was trying to get on in Michigan. Let's see if they've got that here on this page here. Ballot access, Michigan. There it is. In August 2024, Cornel West and his running mate Melina. I should find out how that's pronounced, actually. Abdullah were both initially disqualified and denied entry into the 2024 Michigan presidential election ballot due to an incorrectly notarized form. Can you believe that? They filled out their form, they get it notarized, they file it, and then the officials at Michigan say, no, this isn't notarized right, you know, for whatever technical reason. It wasn't, you know. It's the Michigan Secretary of State had given West campaign a week to submit a response concerning notarization issues and did not receive a response, after which the department disqualified West. On August 24th, a Michigan judge overruled the decision and required West to be given ballot access in Michigan. And even just, you know, this is they to do that, you know, to get on the ballot, they got to do all this rigmarole. They got to get, you know, tons and tons of signatures. They have to, you know, do all this paperwork, do a ton of stuff just to get on the ballot. A lot of legal stuff. And you know what? The Democrats and Republicans don't have to do that. It's totally unfair. Democrats and Republicans get on the ballot for free. They don't have to do all this. They don't have to get all these signatures. They don't have to do all this stuff. They're just put on there automatically. Anybody else has to go through and get all these signatures and do all this stuff. That's like a fundamental, basic thing in democracies. It's got to be fair. Everything, you know, it should be fair. Everybody should be treated equally, you know. That's especially on, you know, stuff like campaigns and that kind of thing. So really, really bad. Really, really bad. And in the email that I got from Cornel West's campaign, he said that the ones who were keeping him off the ballot is the DNC, Democratic National Committee. The Democrats are trying to keep people off the ballot. They're the ones who are talking about democracy. Oh, we got to restore democracy. We got to keep democracy. Vote for us if you want democracy. No, they don't want democracy. They don't want other people running on the ballot. So, you know, and did you hear about this anywhere? Have you heard about this anywhere? Did your local news tell you about this? No. If you haven't heard about this from your news sources, you got to change your news sources. You got to get new sources of news. You know, if you haven't heard about this. Let's see, in Arizona, let's see what it says in Arizona, 2024, that was earlier, said that Cameron did not file sufficient paperwork to gain access on the state, in the state before the deadline. This was in spite of reported efforts from Republican lawyers to secure electors to support West's efforts. So the Republicans are trying to get Cornel West on there. Wow. Okay. Also in August, the judge ruled agreeing with the Secretary of State's office that West Kennedy's paper was insufficient to ballot access in Pennsylvania. So they're, let's see where they're on here. According to this little map here, so they're on the ballot in 16 states. These green ones here. Can you see that? Yeah. So they're on the ballot in the green states. They're waiting. Oh, this is as of July, so this is probably not up to date here. So they're waiting in a couple states, registered to automatic write-in. In some states have an where you just file as a write-in and you're on, or you're eligible for write-in. Past final deadline. So they're past the deadline in all these states and they can't get on. What is in New Hampshire? Oh, they're going to be a write-in in New Hampshire. So I guess if I wanted to vote for Cornel West, I'd have to write his name in, apparently, in New Hampshire. So that was news that he got, and I got a email from him about a week or so ago, where he said that they had just gotten ballot access in North Carolina, apparently, if I remember correctly. So that was some news that I thought was kind of. Oh, here it is. Yeah, in April. Let's see. North Carolina's election board blocked West's party from appearing on the ballot after surveying 50 of the signatures. Yeah, here's another one. The election officials, they got to get signatures, right? And so the election officials look at the signatures and they say, "Oh, this signature is a little bit different than the signature that when this person registered to vote 20 years ago. It's a little bit different. So we're throwing that signature out and it didn't count." You know, this is the kind of shit that they got to go through all the time. Anybody who's not a Democrat and a Republican, they got to go through all this stuff, and then they get knocked off, and then they have to file a lawsuit and find lawyers and pay money and do all this stuff to try to get on the, just to get on the ballot. And found many did not sign it or did not know what it was for. Republican canvassing firm. So I don't know. So it's unclear who paid for the signature gathering. But yeah, this is so that apparently they won this battle here in North Carolina. At least that's what the email said, if I remember it correctly. So that's what's going on there. That's kind of news that's you probably don't hear elsewhere. What else we got here? Oh, Reuters sent me some stuff. I submitted my email address at the Reuters website, so now they send me a bunch of emails all the time about stuff that's going on. And they said, in some of the emails I was getting, they were talking about, Israel and Lebanon are fighting, right? We talked about that, I think, last time. This is all from, what happened was there was a gas field, the Gaza marine gas field was discovered a decade or so ago, and they've been fighting, working, trying to get that approvals and stuff like that so they could develop. Palestine was trying to get that developed and start taking gas out of there. And they finally got the final approval from Israel, because Israel occupies them, right? So they had to get permission from Israel to do that. They finally got approval in, July, I think it was. And then a couple months later, surprise, surprise, war breaks out, and they're not able to develop that gas field. So, and I've said this before, the reason most wars are caused by the fossil fuel industries, most of them. And usually it's they want to keep the gas or oil from being extracted and sold on the market, because the more gas and oil that's on the market, the lower the prices, right? Supply and demand. The more supply, the lower the price. And that's what causes most wars, and that's what caused this war on Gaza. The Gaza marine gas field was ready to be go into production, and so exactly at the point in northern Gaza, exactly that place where the production was going to happen, they got some. This is my theory: is that they got some. They were infiltrated into that group, into the groups there, into Hamas, and got people, some of them, to attack Israel. And that's what started this whole thing. So that, because they knew Israel then would go into northern Gaza, and that would be it. They wouldn't be able to develop that gas field. So, and now that has spread. Now the other countries in the Middle East, are afraid. They're because Israel is being very aggressive, and they're afraid, so they're fighting back. And so now, who's involved now? It's Israel and Palestine and Lebanon and Iran, Yemen. Who else? I think Syria. Was Syria involved? I think Syria's been involved in it too. Well, yes, because Israel attacked an official, an Iranian official in Syria. So it's all over the Middle East now. So that's what's going on there. What else did Reuters tell me about? They told me about Russia striking back in Ukraine. Last time I talked about Ukraine taking territory in Russia, which was a big deal, and that kind of embarrassed Putin. So he's fighting back. He's trying to, be more aggressive to Ukraine in the war. Let's see. Reuters also told me about separatists in Pakistan. There's a place called Balochistan. I don't know how to pronounce that. Balochistan, which is a province in Pakistan that wants to. Let's look that up, because I don't know anything about that. So, and I got a little thing from Reuters in my email that talked about that. So I will look that up and see what's going on with that. BALOCH. There it is. Okay. All right, let me scan this and make sure we're Twitch safe here. Okay. All right, so. All right, so here's a little province called. Do they have a pronunciation? Oh, they got a little thing here. They will say what it is.
Balochistan.
See that? Did that come out on my thing?
Balochistan.
Balochistan? Okay. It makes up 44% of the land area in Pakistan. Only 5% is arable. It's mostly desert. Okay. So livestock, that's what they do. Okay. Oh, look at this. Largely underdeveloped, its economy is also dominated by natural resources, especially its natural gas fields. What'd I tell you? I didn't know anything about this at all. I didn't plan this. I didn't do anything. I just got this note in my email about this, this separatist, they say, So I wonder what's going to happen. They're not going to be able to put their gas on the market, and then the price of gas is going to be high again. Get natural gas. same thing. So it's probably whoever started the war in Gaza is probably behind this same thing too, I bet. Let's see if they what they got in here. Do a little bit more research. Let's see, is that Pakistan state-owned oil and gas company, Islamabad. Okay. So they got gas fields there. Oh, here's a little map to show you where it is. Pakistan. That's Afghanistan. That's India. This is Pakistan. So yeah, it takes up a big hunk of it there, doesn't it? Okay, this is all history stuff. Okay, I don't want to do geography, climate, government, politics. Okay. Okay, parliamentary government, ceremonial governor. Interesting. Appointed by the president of Pakistan. Okay, so it's basically. All right, so what I'm getting right here, just reading that they have that the governor, they say, is a ceremonial head, and then they're saying that he's appointed by Pakistan, by the president of Pakistan. So right there, that's telling me that that's a problem, right? I mean, imagine it in the United States if the governors of the United States were appointed by the president. That, you think the people in each of the states would be kind of feel like don't have as much autonomy? So that's a red flag right there. Unicameral Provincial Assembly of Balochistan. I don't know how to, actually I heard it pronounced it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Besides dominant Pakistan-wide political parties, nationalist parties, okay, administrative divisions, I don't care, okay, that's details, let's see. Demographics, sometimes this can give clues too. Okay, I don't even know. I don't know what all those different ethnicities are. So religions. It's mostly Islam. Education, economy. Let's see. We already looked at natural gas, coal, and other minerals. Livestock. You know. Okay. Balochistan share of Pakistan's national income is historically ranged between 3.7 and 4.9%. So they've got almost half of the land, but they're only producing less than 5% of the economy, and it's wrapped up in natural gas and livestock. Okay, it still lags far behind other parts of Pakistan, so they're backward, apparently. The agreements for royalty rights and ownership of mineral rights were reached during a period of unprecedented natural disaster, economic, social, political, and cultural unrest in Pakistan. Negotiations were widely considered to be insufficiently transparent. So yeah, it's a resource thing, probably. Let's see if they've got. Now they don't have anything in here about the separatists or anything like that, which is kind of weird. Let's see. After independence, okay. There it is. Insurgencies by Baloch nationalists. Okay, that was a while ago. Okay, at a press conference in 2015, their home minister accused India's prime minister of openly supporting terrorism. Dar's a region. Okay, colony. Okay, it was a colony of Oman for more than a century. Oh, that's interesting. So part of this province, or with this area here, was ruled by Oman for more. What did I say? Oman is on the Arab Peninsula, right? Right next to Saudi Arabia and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. 1960s, Pakistan took over the land. So it's okay. So it's very. It was by. For more than a century, it was ruled by Oman, or colonized, whatever, by Oman. And Pakistan just took over recently. Well, within 60 years, I guess. Many people in this region are therefore Omani. Okay, so that gives us a little bit more clue what's going on there, right? So, It doesn't say anything about the. Let's see. Okay. Khan received a letter from members of somebody. Well, okay. Okay, this is brought into question whether the actual vote took place. Okay, so they're struggling with democracy, not working. Okay, insurgency. Oh, here we got a whole article on this. Then, okay, let me take a look at that. Okay, looks safe. So let's put that up. Insurgency in Balochistan, or revolt by Baloch separatists, insurgents, and various Islamist militant groups against the government of Pakistan and Iran. What? In the Balochistan region. It covers the Pakistani province of Balochistan, Iranian province of Sistan, and Balochistan. I don't know what these are. Balochistan of southern Afghanistan. Rich in natural resources. So this, they got all these resources, but they're not getting money for it. So that's kind of weird. That's probably what the conflict is about. And also, the international fossil fuel companies don't want them to dump their stuff on the market. This is the largest, least populated, and least developed province in Pakistan. Okay, right, we got that. And armed groups demand greater control of the province's natural resources. There you go. It's a fossil fuel war. That's what's going on. Okay. Separatists have attacked civilians from other ethnicities throughout the province. And yeah, what they do is they always try to get, in order to get conflict going, they try to get different ethnicities or different religions to fight, to fight each other, or whatever they can to try to get them to fight each other. It's never, when you hear about wars, about different religious groups fighting or different ethnicities fighting and stuff like that, that's not what's going on. It's some other entity is getting people to hate each other in order to get conflict for some other usually an economic reason, because somebody else wants power and money, The ethnic separatist insurgency is low scale but ongoing, mainly in southern Balochistan, as well as sectarian and religious motivated militancy concentrated mainly in northern and central Balochistan. Huh. So here's the thing, I never even heard of it. I didn't know anything about this at all. This is just another one of those, conflict areas that you don't really hear about very much. So let's see. This is back. So in 48 and 50 they had problems. In 58 and 60, 62, 63, 73 to 77. With ongoing low-level insurgency beginning in 2003. So that's within 20 years. Okay, I'm still on here. Akbar called anger towards provincial growing and often uncontrollable. Militants have taken some. Okay, let's see what do we have most recently here. Okay, the News International reported in 2012 that a Gallup survey conducted in the DFID, Department for International Development, revealed that most of the ballot. God, I got a nerve. Let me try to pronounce that name again here. I want to get that right. All right, let me listen to this one more time here.
Balochistan.
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 Below. Okay, that's all I'll think. It sounds like below Balochistan. Okay. Balochistan. Okay. Okay, the News International reported in 2012 that a Gallup survey conducted for this Department of International Development revealed that most of Balochistan province does not support independence from Pakistan, with only 37% of ethnic Baloch, and 12% of Pashtuns in Balochistan favoring independence. However, 67% of Balochistan's population favored greater provincial autonomy. Yeah, your governor's being appointed by the president of Pakistan. Gee, I wonder why they're upset about that. It's it's like they designed it to cause. They designed that system, having a president appointing their governor. It's like they designed it in order to ruffle feathers there. So, yeah, up to 80% of the Baloch, and 53% of Pashtuns in the province. Area of dispute. Okay. The Gulf of Oman forms its southern border. Mountains. Okay. Geographic. Largest province. Yeah, we talked about that already. Okay. Look at this. There's just all kinds of history here. Look at all this. Just all kinds of deals. So I don't have the patience to go through all that, but I guess it's just something to be aware of. First conflict was in 48, and they got details here about each of the. Remember I was saying all those different times. Okay, until present. Okay, so they just got all the details here of the fighting and who's killing who and. Oh, look at this now. They got a play-by-play. Look at this. Look at all these details. This happens on Wikipedia sometimes when there's news going on, somewhere, and something is happening, and then the editors of Wikipedia will just write in every single thing that happens every day into the article, and it just ends up with this big long list of paragraphs of, this guy killed this guy, and then this guy killed this guy, and two people killed here, and just. So the last one they have on here is February 7th, 2024, but I just got something in my email about something just happening recently. It said, I think it was 50 people or something. It was a pretty big, significant thing. So maybe that'll get added on here. All right, well, fighting in Pakistan. All right. What else did Reuters told me? Oh, Canadian railway strike. Yeah, I guess the railway workers in Canada want more money or whatever, I don't know, something. They're striking up there, and that's going to cause economic issues for the U.S. too, because we're right, they're our neighbors, So that's going to cause problems probably. Just as it appears that our economy is kind of teetering on going down right now into a recession. So that might do it, or help contribute to that. Okay, what else did Reuters say? Oh, media, yeah. They said that this guy, Edgar Bronfman, wants to buy Paramount, and he's just raised his bid, so to $6 billion this guy wants to spend. Let's see, I've got his thing here. All right, so I'll bring it up here. Edgar Bronfman Jr., businessman, filmmaker, theater producer, and media executive who is managing partner at Accretive LLC. He previously was CEO of Warner Music, served as its chairman, served as the CEO of Warner Music Group during its May 2011 sale to Access Industries. I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about the music industry at all. His family came from the Seagram's company, the people who make alcohol. So, his family owned that company, and somehow he became CEO. I don't know how. He must be a very talented guy. He got to be CEO of his parents' company or something. I don't know. Let's see. Family gained its fortunes through the Seagram's company. The I don't know how you pronounce that. Do they have a pronunciation here? No. So I'm just going to have to wing it. Bronfman. Patriarch of one of the wealthiest, most influential Jewish families in Canada. They have an article on Jewish families in Canada. That's interesting. Oh, history of Jews in Canada. Okay. The Bronfman family gained its fortunes through the Seagram's company, alcohol distilling company. Huh. His mother was the daughter of John Langeloff, a Wall Street investment banker. Okay. Let's see. Film production. So he's had this whole career here. So he's been involved in film production, apparently. Now up at the top here, they've got this warning, right? So he's trying to buy he's trying to buy Paramount, apparently, right? Reuters is reporting that he bid $6 billion for the company, for Paramount. So he's in the news right now. And so this article is getting heavily edited right now. So they've got all these warnings. It says, a major contributor to this article appears to have close connection with its subject. That's recent. And then it says, the article's tone or style may not reflect the tone on Wikipedia. So somebody doesn't like the way that somebody is writing in here. The article needs additional citations for verification. So that's kind of important, right? If somebody's claiming that it needs more citations. And then there's an old warning hint here that it's like an advertisement. So maybe what we should do is look at an older version of this article and see how it compares to this one, and then we'll see if the information in here holds up, right? Because right now this is just being edited by a lot of people who may have interests one way or another in this big deal. I mean, $6 billion, that's gets people motivated, to do stuff. Waverly Capital. It was announced that Bronfman would be launching a new venture capital firm called Waverly Capital. Okay. Okay, it's making some accusations about sex trafficking stuff. I'm not going to read about that because I don't know if that's true. Insider trading conviction. So they're saying that he got convicted. I don't know if that's true either. We'll look at the other earlier versions, see if this stuff is actually true, or at least if it was reported contemporaneously at that time. When was this? Back in 2011. So copyright. That's a big thing with me right now. So let's see what they say. Most of my stuff is getting flagged for copyright when I try to put it on YouTube now. These streams are getting flagged for copyright. So that's a problem. They're right now they're using copyright to censor things. That's what they're doing, and that's wrong because democracies, you don't censor what people say. Everybody should be free to say what they want, as long as they don't, hurt anybody. Not hurt their feelings. I mean, hurt, cause actual damage to people. Of course, you don't want to hurt people's feelings anyway, but you don't make that a law. You don't make it a law. You don't make it against the law to hurt people's feelings when you say stuff, right? You don't do that. Websites can do that. Social media websites can say don't say things that hurt people's feelings, if they want on their own website, but you can't make a law that says that. Cause a stir by admitting his children have copyright infringed. Okay, so it's, I don't know. So he's got some. Of course, he's in the. So when they're talking about Napster, right? Remember the Napster thing that happened a long time ago? This was when the internet was first kind of getting going, and music was controlled by a small group of people, and if to get music you had to actually buy a physical medium of music, and so the distribution was controlled pretty good too, and so then the internet came out, Napster came out, and there was a lot of file sharing and people sharing music back and forth, and of course the music industry didn't like that. So it's no surprise that this big billionaire who's making a bunch of money on selling music was upset about that. So, all right, let's go back and look at an earlier version of this. So this is the edit history. This is the edit history of Wikipedia. When you go in and read Wikipedia articles, you should look at the edit history of what's going on. And see, it looks like this article is getting edited, a couple times a month, maybe here, 2 or 3 times a month, maybe. Look at here, they went from November to March without anybody making a change, So it's not a big, this Wikipedia article doesn't get a lot of edits, really, every few days. But then all of a sudden here, so in January it got a few edits. But then here in August, see, there's a whole bunch of them now in August, because he's trying to buy that Paramount. So, people are making, and then, people make these edits, and then somebody else says, "Oh, I don't like your edits," and they get in a big fight, and then they slap these warnings at the top of the article. That's how that happens. So let's go back here and look before all this happened, just to see, about a year ago, just to see what it's saying. This one looks okay. Let's take a look at that one. Now I gotta shut this off while I do this, just in case, because they do bad things sometimes on Wikipedia. You know, I don't want any bad things popping up on the screen while I'm streaming live here. Let me scan this article real quick. Okay, it looks okay. I don't see anything. All right. So I'm looking at an old version, right? This is a version in. This is an old version edited in June of 2023. Okay, so I went back a little bit. They still have warnings up here. They don't like the quality standards, and then they say that it sounds like an advertisement. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. So, early life, basically the same thing. Seagram's, Wall Street, blah, blah, blah. Film production, okay. Seagram Company, Warner Music. Okay, so that all checks out. So if it was the same way back then, and a year later, it's still talking about this. That's probably true, because there have been enough edits in between that time that somebody somewhere, even this guy, right? If he didn't like it, he could have gone, caused him to fix it. So this stuff is probably true. All this, the fact that it was there a year ago and it's there now gives you more confidence that that information is more likely to be true. And Waverly Capital. Okay, music career. Personal life. Okay. Well, they still have something in there about sex trafficking. Let's see what that says here. Edgar Bronfman Jr. is the son of Edgar Bronfman Sr., the billionaire businessman and a longtime president of the World Jewish Congress, who died at age 84 in 2013. He is the half-brother of Claire Bronfman, who as a 39-year-old was charged in 2018 in a NXIVM sex trafficking case. I don't know what that is. And I don't want to mouse over it because it's talking about sex. I don't know what will pop up if I mouse over that. So I don't know what that is. But so it's his half-brother then that was charged in the sex trafficking case. Okay. In 1979, he married his first wife, African-American actress Sherry Brewer, in New Orleans. Bronfman's father did not approve of the marriage. Okay, so his father's a racist, right? I very much wanted him to end the relationship because I told him all marriages are difficult enough without the added stress of totally different backgrounds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of tells us a little bit about him, doesn't it? He's a little more progressive. So if he was willing to marry an African American woman, that means that he's probably less racist than most people in Hollywood and other people in old media. All right, so he eloped, and he was estranged from his father. Wow, okay. And they had 3 children before they divorced in 91. Okay. This is back in 79, too. This is a long time ago. So this guy's pretty progressive from that standpoint, anyway. All right, insider trading conviction. Okay, in January 21, 20... I saw this in the more recent article, too. French court of insider trading as Vivendi chief and received 15-month suspended sentence and €5 million fine. Okay. Well, considering the jail sentences handed out to other executives for similar convictions, BNN reporter Michael Caine told some news thing. Okay. Said he got off light. Okay. He has appealed the decision. I don't know what that means. All right, so a lot of this is the same. He doesn't like he doesn't like he wants to keep copyright rules. It looks like he doesn't like people sharing files for free and all that kind of stuff. Looks like so. That's what's going on there. So let me go back to the other one now. Now it doesn't say anything in here that I can see about his bid for Paramount, which is kind of interesting. Why would they not mention that here? I'm gonna go look at the talk page here and see if that has anything on it. Okay, they don't have much here. I'll show you this. When the Wikipedia editors want to talk to each other, they go to this talk page. At the top of the page, you go to the top of the page, and there's a little link that says talk, and it brings you to this talk page. And any editor can write in here, what's going on, what they think is right or wrong with the article. And so this stuff on this talk page can sometimes show you things that editors are trying to keep out of the article. If somebody wants to put something in the article and other people don't like it, they can keep removing it from the article, and maybe you won't see it if you just read the article, but if you go to the talk page, you'll see something about it. But things, on the other hand, things on the talk page are totally on, people can say whatever they want here, so it's may or may not be true. But it can give you a clue as to, maybe there's something else that they're not putting in there. So I don't see anything in here mentioning that. They got spelling, modifying external links, and something about his music company. Oh, and I don't even mention the boycott from YouTube. I don't know what that is. That could be just somebody just throwing something out there. Who knows? All right, so we got to go somewhere else then to find out about this Paramount thing. So I'm going to do that right now. This is of interest to me because, one of the big threats to our democracy is large media companies that want to restrict people's free speech. That's a huge problem in our country right now. And, so when a huge media company like Paramount might be changing hands, that's something that you want to look at, right? Find out who's gonna buy them, what their background is and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, let me try to get to a Google page here. I got to do I got to do this without it on the screen, just in case. Let me type in Paramount and news, and let's see what we got. So it says Bloomberg News is reporting that Paramount Global, this company that Reuters said that this billionaire is trying to buy, is moving ahead with asset disposals to raise cash. So Paramount is selling local TV stations to raise cash. So maybe that's a defensive mood. I don't know if this is a hostile takeover or not from this guy. Apparently it is. 11th hour suitor. Yeah, so they're trying to get cash. Let's see what it says here. It says, who is Edgar Bronfman Jr.? The New York Times, that's the headline at the New York Times. Who is Edgar Bronfman Jr., Paramount's 11th hour suitor? Bloomberg has one here that says Edgar Bronfman's Paramount plans include partnership with big tech. New York Post says Paramount stock edges up as Bronfman reportedly mulls increasing bid again. That was 4 hours ago. Bronfman's, this is CNBC, says Bronfman's Paramount bid could keep Shari Redstone involved in the company. Okay. So that's part of the thing too, yeah, when they're, when a company gets taken over, the current management, wants to cover their asses, right? They want to keep their power or whatever. So, and whoever's buying it doesn't want the current management to sabotage the company after they buy it. So they usually try to work something out, unless it's a total hostile. Sometimes somebody's just buying a company just for its assets. They don't care about the management. They don't care about who's running, what's going on or anything. They just want to buy it and tear it apart and sell its assets. Sometimes that happens on a takeover. But in a media company, I don't think that's what's going on here. Patrick Stewart. That has nothing to do with this. Okay. So interesting. I don't know if we should read. I think these are all behind paywalls anyway, so. So that's kind of interesting. So this guy's going to take it over. He's from Canada. Canada billionaire. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so that was I wanted to get in there and find out what was going on with that because I didn't know anything about it. And it's kind of important, when a big media company changes hands like that. What else did Reuters tell me about? Disney. Disney is trying to merge with India's Reliance. I don't know what that is, so I guess I'll have to look that up. Reliance. Okay, that's going to be a... Here it is, okay. Let me make sure this is okay before I bring it up. And okay, let me bring this up here. So I went to this article on Reliance Industries, which is an big, huge Indian conglomerate. India, right? And I searched for Disney in that article, and I found this little line here that says, in March, so this is going back a few months, Reliance Industries partnered with Disney to introduce Reliance Disney OTT platform. OTT means over the top, and it's an old media term, really. It just means when streaming services were just getting started, and it used to be. I'll give you a little bit of history on this, just to explain why they're using that term, just to inform you. Okay, so you understand. It used to be right. TV was just through broadcast over the air, right? Then they came out with cable later in the 20th century, mid to late 20th century, 70s, maybe 60s, 70s, and then cable became even more popular because they could put more channels on there and stuff like that. But it was still all controlled. Pretty much, the distribution was controlled. Who could receive what stations or what channels. And then when the internet came out, then people started getting content through the internet. They could get it anywhere in the world, and it changed things. And that idea of and at the time, cable companies, a lot of ISPs, people who supplied internet service to the individual citizens or whatever. A lot of them were cable companies. So in the cable industry, when they distributed video, it was usually through cable to a TV with a little set-top box. And then when internet came out, then they started supplying internet service to people, and then people would get video through the internet service, and they wouldn't need a set-top box. And when they did that, the industry referred to it as OTT, over the top. And over the top platform just means a website. Somebody, have a website that is distributing content, video content. So this was back in March, and I don't know what came of that or what was. Let's see here. Reliance Disney merger. A gushing titan develops in India. Let's see what this is. Reliance Disney to merge India media operations. So this is back in February. But they don't have anything more recent than that here that I see. But let's see what this is all about here. The company has attracted controversy for reports of political corruption, cronyism, fraud, financial manipulation, and exploitation of its customers, Indian citizens, and natural resources. Okay, so Mumbai, that's where they're headquartered. Its businesses include energy, petrochemicals, natural gas, retail, entertainment, telecommunications, mass media, and textiles. Jeez. All right. Largest public company in India. All right. Let's see how big they are here. Say, okay, revenue of 120 billion. 24. Okay. Well, how can they say in 24? Maybe their fiscal year ended in 24. Q4. Yeah. Okay. Operating income is 13 billion. So they're getting 13 billion in profit, or gross profit on 120 billion of revenue. 210 billion of assets. So it's a big company. It's a big company in India. But I don't know what they're doing with Disney. I don't know. I haven't been following that's media companies at all. What's going on with that? So I don't know if I should search that or not. Disney is they're one of them that's really being assholes to me on YouTube. They're ones who putting all these claims saying, anytime you do a fair use thing on your, if you take a little snippet, just a tiny little snippet of their movie, and they say, oh, copyright, and you're allowed to do that by law. By law, you're allowed to take little snippets of stuff and talk about it for purposes of reviewing the thing or for educational purposes or whatever, But Disney is being, they're being assholes about it. Now I don't know what's going on there. Disney has a lot of controversy otherwise, of course. There a lot of anyway, a lot of stuff going on there that makes them controversial with certain people. So it might be that there's just some idiot in the legal department at Disney who's trying to sabotage Disney. That could be too. There could be somebody in Disney who is trying to sabotage the whole company, Disney, and mess up their goodwill by putting out all these copyright notices to people to stir up ill will towards the company. That could be. You never know. You never know what's going on. I wonder if I should. Let me do I'll do a search on this in just a regular Google search here and see if they got anything in here. Disney Reliance. Yeah. So, Business Today says Reliance and Disney could divest channels ahead of merger deal to avoid CCI glare. I don't know what CCI is, but it's probably a regulator that's in India. CCI, I is probably India, something. Communication Commission in India, maybe, I don't know. That happens a lot when you get a merger between two large media companies. Like in the United States and other countries, they limit how many media outlets one company can own. You know, they don't want one company buying up all of the TV stations in the whole country, for example, or all of the newspapers or something like that, because that wouldn't. That's bad for democracy, right? If only one company owns all of the media outlets, so there are laws that prevent that. They limit how many newspapers they can have in a certain market or how many TV stations in a certain market, that sort of thing. So when two large media companies that have a lot of different assets, a lot of different, TV stations or newspapers or whatever, when they merge together, they often have to sell off some of their stuff in order to avoid running into problems with regulators. And so they're saying that they could be selling some of their channels. Let's see. Will concessions... Okay, this is the economic... These are results that I got from searching for Disney Reliance. And it says, in the Economic Times, they say, their headline says, will concessions smoothen... smoothen? That's a new word. The path for Reliance Disney's $8.5 billion mega merger. Concessions. Okay, and here's something. ET Legal World, never heard of them. I don't know what that is. Their headline says, Disney Reliance offer ad rate concessions for deal. Oh, here's Walt Disney Company themselves. Okay. Their headline says, Reliance and Disney announced strategic joint venture to bring together the most compelling and engaging entertainment brands in India. Okay. This looks like it's more of a something that's going to affect India more than the U.S., I think. We're talking. Here's Reuters headline. They said India flags cricket rights concerns with Disney Reliance merger will hurt rival sources. Something. So covering sports, right? I guess that's what that's their angle on the whole thing. Forbes says what we know about the 8.5 billion. Oh, it's 8.5 billion now, huh? $8.5 billion Disney merger with Reliance in India. All right, so, and that's kind of an important thing, I guess, because India is they're kind of teetering, on their democracy is really hurting more than it is in the U.S. even. They're kind of screwed up over there right now. They got they're more, heading towards an authoritarian type government rather than democracy. So that's a big deal out there. All right, so I guess we covered that one to death. There's a lot more to know, maybe, but who cares, right? That we just couldn't know that they're probably going to merge. Oh, right, in my headlines, right? The astronauts stuck in space. I don't know anything about that other than it has to do with Boeing Starliner. So let's bring up. Let me bring up the Wikipedia page on the Boeing Starliner. Oops. What am I doing here? Damn. Okay. Starliner. Boeing Starliner. Let's see if they have anything in here. Oh wait, let me just run through the article here real quick. Okay, let's bring it up. Boeing Starliner spacecraft. All right. So it's basically a shuttlecraft to bring astronauts up to the space station. Starliner project has been plagued by delays, management issues, engineering challenges. The first unmanned orbital flight test in December 19 was deemed a partial failure. So they had to test it again in May of 22. The crew flight tests in June 24 experienced malfunctions, leaking helium, and an outage of 5 of the 8 aft-facing reaction control system thrusters. Wow. Leading NASA to conclude that it was too risky to return its astronauts to Earth aboard Starliner. That was in May of 22. Oh no, in June of 24. And there were also pricing issues, I guess. Let's see here. History. Okay. So they're not saying what about this latest headline. That's not in here. All right. Well, in June 24, NASA announced updated schedule for the mission, detailing live coverage for the launch, docking, blah blah blah. Okay, coverage. Okay, they don't even have the delay in here. Okay, so Wikipedia is kind of behind the times here. Testing, uncrewed, third orbital flight. Yeah, I don't see anything here that's even talking about that. Let me go to, I'll go to ISS and see if they've got something in there about it. Well, they're saying that it's screwed up, though. They had a lot of problems with it. Alright, this is a big long article, so it's going to take me a second to make sure it's okay. This is a huge article. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, this is a huge article, this thing on the space station. Alright. Looks like I can put it up. Alright. Let's see here. Talk about it, purpose, scientific research, exploration, education. construction, assembly. Let me see if I could go to the table of contents. Let's find some. Operations. Cost, structure, and operations, huh? Scheduled missions, currently docked. Let's see what we got here. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Starliner. Currently docked. Okay, all dates. Departure dates are the earliest possible. Currently docked, it says. They're not supposed to say that in Wikipedia articles, because you can't say now or currently, because you don't know what day somebody's going to read the article, or or if things are going to change. They're not supposed to do that. Scheduled missions. September 24. 17th of August 24. Okay. Uncrewed. Crewed. Okay. Arrival. Departure. And to be determined. Okay, so that must be the problem then, huh? Calypso? No. What's this? Okay, this is the mission. Flight test. Okay, is the first crewed mission of the Starliner capsule launched in June. The mission flew a crew. All right, I think that's going to give us our information. Let me bring up that article. Whoops. Okay. Let's see what it says here. Delays, capsule, crew. April 16th. However, the mission's launch was repeatedly postponed. Okay, so June 5th was a successful launch. Let's see here, crew. Mission, launch. Okay, here we go. Now we got a little play-by-play here. June, launch. Launch attempt, summary. Docking. I think these are out of date. I think I'm going to have to do oh, here it is. Okay. Return to Earth. Okay, there it is. On August 24th, NASA announced that the Boeing crew will return in 2025 on a Crew Dragon, that's SpaceX, joining members of the SpaceX Crew 9 mission. That mission will now launch with 2 astronauts on board instead of 4, leaving 2 empty seats for Williams and Wilmore. So, there you go. Now, this is not good for Boeing, is it? At all. Let me read a little bit about the history here. I'll read these few paragraphs so we can see what's going on. NASA's original plan was for Starliner to undock from the ISS and return to Earth on June 14th, concluding an 8-day stay. This is like Gilligan's Island, right? 3-hour tour. 3-hour tour. For those of you who remember Gilligan's Island. That was at the beginning of Gilligan's Island. They talk about, hang on just a second. The theme song of the thing, says, these people went out on a 3-hour tour and then they got shipwrecked on the island and they were there for the whole series. Anyway, so I guess that's what happened here, right? Kind of in space, though. NASA's original plan was for the Starliner to undock from the ISS and return to Earth on June 14th, concluding an eight-day stay. Since then, the landing date has been pushed back several times by NASA and Boeing in order for engineers to better understand what has caused the maneuvering thrusters to fail and what was causing the helium leaks. On June 28th, NASA announced that while Starliner could return the astronauts to Earth if the ISS were to experience an emergency, the capsule would not be approved to fly until its thruster problems were solved or at least better understood. The extension of the astronauts' stay was highly emphasized in the press. Yeah, that's what they're... Yeah, okay. With some reports stating that they were stuck in space. That's what I said. That's what I said in my headline. Astronauts stuck in space. Let's see. Boeing criticized these reports. While reporters argued NASA and Boeing should be more transparent about the mission. So, finger pointing, or whatever, who knows what's going on. While NASA and Boeing initially said Starliner could remain docked to the ISS for up to 45 days, they later said that Starliner would actually be able to stay docked for up to 90 days when considering the performance of the onboard batteries. Okay, so that was June. That was June 28th. So June, July, August, September. So yeah, so they're running out of time, huh? Battery's going to go dead. All right, on August 24th, NASA announced that the Boeing crew will return in 2025. Okay, I read this on a Crew Dragon. Right, so the Crew Dragon mission that was supposed to go up in 25 when was that? February, I guess. In February 25 was supposed to have 6 astronauts on it, and that was going to go up to the space station. But now they're only putting 4 on it, so it'll go up to the space station, and these other ones will join them when they come back, and it'll be 4 up, 6 down. Right. According to the original plan, with the crew returning to Earth on Starliner, it would have taken around 3 hours to prepare to undock from the ISS after closing the hatch. Once undocked, Starliner would have performed a full spiral around the ISS, flying above, behind, below the station before firing the thrusters to begin the trip back to the western U.S., where the capsule would have landed about 6.5 hours later. Yeah, they do that sometimes, to inspect and stuff. However, the modified uncrewed plan has been adjusted to reduce stress on the thrusters. Right? Yeah, not a good idea to have a spacecraft with thruster issues circling the International Space Station. Yeah, whoops! Oh, that thruster's stuck. Bang! Yeah, it's good for them to be careful about that. You could take out the whole space station if they had a problem. All right, so that's astronauts are stuck in space. And that's true. They're stuck up there. All right, so that's all right. That's what I got for that. And then what else do I got here? Maybe I should take a break. What is it? Hour and 44 minutes. I made a malt shake, but I didn't right before I went on. I don't know if I should drink that on stream. I'll end up with a little mustache if I drink that on stream. So I guess I'll wait till I'm over. Let's see. All right, so let me put my mug back up here again and get rid of some of those. All right. All right, next thing. Now, last week, I was trying to find free sources of news, and I did, last week I did what's the name of that one? Democracy Now! Right. See, I've got free, trying to get a list of free sources of news that will let me use their stuff online so nobody will complain about copyrights, you know. And Democracy Now! Lets small streamers and stuff use their news for free, so you can use that. But they're, you know, they're way to the left, you know, on their reporting. I want to get more balance and stuff. I found this other one called The Conversation. I have no idea what their take is on things. I think it might be a little bit more diverse. So let me bring this up here. This one's called The Conversation. It says The Conversation, academic rigor, journalistic flair. So now their thing is they let their stuff go out there for free, but they have kind of they have a Creative Commons license, but it's no attribution, which is no problem, right? It's conversation, and whoever the authors are of the article, we want to know who that is anyway. And no derivatives. That means that I have to when I show stuff from here, I got to show the whole thing, you know, or at least all the text. And these are some of the guidelines. You can't edit the material. I have to credit the authors, of course. I have to credit the conversation. I just did that, right? I don't know what this page counter thing is. I'm just going to read it from their website, so it's not that big of a deal. I can't sell the material separately, but it's okay to put our articles on pages with ads or behind a paywall. So that's good. That means I can put it out on, you know, if I get to be affiliate and I get paid, you know, advertising revenue or subscription or something like that, then I can include their articles. I just can't sell I can't take an article and say, you know, here, you can look at this article for 50 cents or something. Couldn't do that. So that's good. But here's the problem. It says you have to confirm your license to republish images in our articles. It says some images, such as those licensed from certain commercial providers, cannot be republished without permission or payment. But others are licensed for you to use. It says copyright terms are generally listed in the image caption and attribution. So I looked at their page, and they've got like Getty images and stuff like that, you know, that they're buying, or, you know, which would be a problem, right, to show the images with the articles. It says you are welcome to omit our images or substitute your own. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to omit them. I'm going to configure my browser so it doesn't display images when I look at their articles, so I don't have to worry about it. It says charts and interactive graphs follow the same rules. Okay. You can't systematically republish all of our articles, right? I'm not going to do that. Special cases, I don't know what. Edits. I don't know what this is. Right. Podcast and video, that's me, right? I'm doing a video. Also covered by Creative Commons and the same attribution. So I'm going to do that. No problem. Page counter, I don't know what that is. The page counter, I think, is if you're if you wanted to take one of their articles and pop it into your own website, then you have to put their little page counter in there, which probably sends something back to them to know every time somebody reads the article that they can count it. I think that's what that is. Okay. And their logos, I don't know. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So right now I am going to erase that, and I'm going to set up my browser to not display images. Oh, I can show you that. If you're using Firefox, just in case, if you ever wanted to set up Firefox so that it doesn't display images, just type into the search or the URL up here. Type in about:config, and that'll bring up a little message that says, warning, warning, you're going to destroy your software or something, and you just continue. Because you can mess it up. These are like, they've got hundreds and hundreds of these different variables that you can set inside the Firefox program that do different things. And you can really mess things up if you don't do it right, apparently. But if I'm going to do this, I tested this at work, so I'm not that worried about it. So what I did is I typed in about config. It said warning, 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 Will Robinson, and I said okay, I'm going to go anyway. And I said continue, and it brings up this page here, this about config page, that has all of these different variables listed. And there's so many that they're hard to find. So they have a little search bar here up at the top that you type in what variable you want. And the one that I searched for was permissions, and it brought up all of these. And I just went down and I found this one that says permissions default image, and it's set to 1 right now. And apparently you got to set it to 2, so I'll do that. I'll change it to 2. There we go. So now it's not, when Firefox ships, it's set to 1. That's the default that you get when you install Firefox. I changed it to 2. And I found out about this by finding an article somebody wrote somewhere who figured it out, and put it on somewhere, and I just searched Google, how to do it, and found an article, and they said, oh yeah, just change it to 2, and your images won't show up anymore. And so that's what I'm doing. So I changed it to 2, so now my images should not show up. And let me go to this thing. I'll reload this page at theconversation.com, and there you go. Look at this. I just reloaded this page. All these pictures, there were pictures here on all these things just a second ago. And I changed that little variable in that about config from a 1 to a 2. And I reloaded this page, and this is what came up. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm in compliance with the conversation. I'm not showing any images of anything, but I get to get access to all their texts for free, as long as I say that it's from the conversation. We know that, and I'll say, who the author of the thing is. Now their articles are more kind of opinion or feature type articles, right? They're not just news blurbs. What we did last week with Democracy Now! Were kind of just quick. They had in-depth stuff, but what I was going through last week was just quick blurbs, about different articles that are more timely. This is, things that may not be, it's things that are going on, but it's not like just, what happened yesterday or whatever. It's more like feature articles. So there was one. I'll just go through some of them here, and we'll just see if we can find something interesting. I did find one in here about Sudan, elections in Sudan, which I put into the title of my stream here. So I'm going to. Oh, hey, Big Ducky Snow is here. How long ago did he do that? Oh shoot! Did you really type that in at 5:33 and I missed that? I was looking at this. I'm looking at the chat. I'm on Twitch, and Twitch has a facility where you can chat with viewers, and viewers can chat with you. And so a friend of the channel here, Steven, he goes by Big Ducky Snow on Twitch, and he said, hi, my dubby buddy. Sorry I can't stay long. I have yoga, I think that's what he's trying to say, and vocal workout, and then some shopping on Amazon to do for my big trip this Friday to Montreal. Oh, well, good luck on your trip there, Stephen. And he says, I'll be lurking, but I will pop in to drop some emotes and make sure my view still counts. Oh, okay. All right. I do that sometimes too. I'll bring up a streamer, and I can't like give them 100% of my undivided attention, but I'll bring them up while I'm making dinner or something, and just have it on in the background where I can listen to it. You kind of like the way people do with TV. They turn it on and listen to it in the background, and look at it every once in a while. So that's what Big Ducky Snow is doing. All right, I appreciate you coming to the channel here. All right, let me see what we've got here. I've got to switch mice here on another computer here to do something. Just a second here, and we'll go through all these articles on the conversation and see what they've got. All right. How U.S. military planning has shifted away from fighting terrorism to readying for tensions with conflict with Russia and China. Okay, I already know that, right? You go back a quarter century, we had 9/11, and the whole U.S. national security shifted towards fighting this asymmetric threats of terrorists and stuff like that. But since then, China has beefed up their military. I'll give you a little background on this one. We don't have to read this article. I'll give you my take on it, okay? So we had 9/11, right, which was an oil thing, right? The Saudis hit us on 9/11, threw some planes into the buildings, and Bush responded by, first he went into Afghanistan, then he went into Iraq. Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. But what happened was the U.S. military just went apeshit and just went all these different places, went into Afghanistan, Iraq, and all over the place, and just got very, very aggressive. The U.S. got very, very aggressive. And this was shortly, a couple years before that, a decade or so before that, the Soviet Union fell. And the U.S. was kind of like, after the Soviet Union fell, they were not as much of a world power anymore. So it was basically the U.S. that was the world power there for a little while. Between, in the 90s, we became the world power, and everybody was wondering, what's going to happen now? Because it used to be the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the U.S. for a long time, right? Ever since World War II, almost, it was the Cold War between the U.S. and Soviet Union. And Soviet Union fell, and so we were in the 90s, and the whole world said, well, what's going to happen now? The U.S. is the sole superpower here. How are they going to act? Are they going to be responsible or what? And what we ended up doing was getting this, had the Saudis attack us on 9/11, and then we just went crazy and just went into the Middle East and tore them a new one, and and China was watching this as we did all this aggressive stuff and took down Iraq and went into Afghanistan and all these other countries and started wars all over the place, and China was watching, They were watching. They were saying, "What is the U.S. going to be as a superpower?" And they got scared. They saw us being aggressive. They saw the U.S. being very, very military being very aggressive. So they responded. They said, "We're going to build up our military, because we're afraid. We're afraid of what the U.S. is doing." So they spent tons and tons of money building up their military. China has been the last couple of decades. And then the U.S. saw China building up their military. They said, "Oh, what's China doing? Maybe they want to, prevent us from, putting our ships in the South China Sea or something." So now there's a big tension between China and the U.S. Right? There's that's gotten a little bit warmer. Warmer meaning. Not a cold war, but a warm. You know what I mean? There's tension, and it could and Taiwan, right? That's another one. Is China going to attack Taiwan? So it's a big deal, right? And also, meanwhile, Russia, who had been, kind of messed up from the fall of the Soviet Union, the U.S. put a ton of money into Russia, which ended up just corrupting the place like crazy. And came up with all these oligarchs, and then Putin came to power, and Russia's gotten aggressive now, went into Ukraine, and they're being very aggressive. So that's what this article is probably talking about. We were fighting terrorism after 9/11, right? That's how the stance we got into. But in the process of doing that, it caused all this other problems, and now there's China and Russia. U.S. has to make their military ready to fight China or Russia, I guess, if it ever came to it. That's what that's about. Harvard Kennedy School. So this guy probably knows what he's talking about. I'm sure that's what his article was about. I don't want to. I wasn't really. That's kind of a digression, really. I didn't want to get into all that, but I just wanted to give some background into that whole thing, which is probably why this guy wrote that article. Okay, the third world's population lacks internet connectivity. Yeah, so does half of New Hampshire. Let's see. Brain research. Okay. Polaris Dawn mission to Earth's orbit will test SpaceX capabilities for a commercial space program. That sounds interesting. Should we look at that? Let's see. Oh, from Kirks to Kirks. Right, remember Ukraine went into Kirks? Putin's attempt to project an image as Russia's protector has been punctured throughout his 25 years in power. So that looks like an in-depth thing about that. All politicians change their minds. Okay, that's real general. Let's look at this Polaris article. All right, I'm going to go back to this, and I'll bring up that Polaris article, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, so I don't know if I want to read this whole thing, but I'll try to go through it here really quick. Okay, SpaceX's upcoming Polaris Dawn mission aims to be historic in more ways than one. Polaris Dawn plans to not only orbit Earth higher than any astronauts have in more than 50 years, but to also feature the first private spacewalk. Now, this is interesting. At the very beginning of my stream here, I was talking about WMUR, just to quick get a feel for how local news covers stuff. And they actually spent quite a bit of their broadcast talking about this. And the reason they did that is because one of the astronauts is from New Hampshire. So local connection, they're going to play that up. And so they talked about that quite a bit. And they also talked about previous astronauts who have been from New Hampshire, Alan Shepard and some Krista McCullough and others, and so that was the local news. So this is like the print version of that. This is from The Conversation, and it's here it is. The author is Wendy Whitman Cobb, professor of strategy and security studies, Air University. Air University, what is that? U.S. School of Advanced Air and Space Studies. Huh. Okay. Her views are her own. Yeah, okay. Mention of trade. Okay, it's just a boilerplate disclosure here. All right, so this is... Oh, I got to say this, right? I got to say the license too, right? Whenever you do Creative Commons, you got to mention that it's a Creative Commons thing. I already said it at the beginning, but whatever. So it's a Creative Commons, no derivatives. That means I can't edit it. So let me just do that right now. I'll just go through this article just to show that I'm doing the whole thing, right? I will just scroll through the whole article here, so nobody can say I didn't show the whole article. I'll do that. It's a long article, isn't it? Okay, that's it. All right, so there I did my obligations as far as with the terms of how they're doing this. Okay, now we can just kind of pick out some stuff here to to look at more closely. All right, expected to launch 27. That's tomorrow. Right, with a crew of 4. And it's got Jared Isaacman, Scott Poteet, and employees Anna Meenan and Sarah Gillis. Okay, I'm not sure which of those is from New Hampshire, because I didn't actually watch the news from my local station. I just wanted to see what articles they or what stories they were covering. Did they say here? No, they just. All right, one of them is from New Hampshire. All right, as a space policy expert. Okay, I don't know what that is. Commercial space flight. All right. Polaris Dawn's time and space will be spent testing communications between it and Earth via Starlink satellites and completing almost 40 experiments. Many of these experiments will study how the human body reacts to low gravity environments and measure the radiation the capsule receives. Yeah, they're going way up in what is it, the Van Halen belt? Van Allen belt. They're going to get some radiation up there. Let's see, but Polaris Dawn's biggest task will be the first private spacewalk. Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Extra vehicular activity. Doing a spacewalk, the first time that a private company has done that. Polaris Dawn is not the first commercial spaceflight mission SpaceX has launched, obviously. In addition to providing launch services to NASA, SpaceX also sells flights on its Falcon 9 rocket and Dragon Crew capsule. Right, we talked about Dragon Crew coming to the Dragon coming to the rescue at the space station previously there. SpaceX's first commercial mission, Inspiration 4, launched in 2021. It was led by Isaacman, Polaris Dawn's commander. Following that mission, Isaacman purchased 3 additional flights from SpaceX and worked with the company to start the Polaris program. While neither Isaacman nor SpaceX have released exact number of seats on the Dragon, have sold previously for about 55 million. Oh my God. That's just unimaginable. 55. Somebody has $55 million. Yeah, that's an e-ticket, isn't it? My God. All right, Polaris Dawn is just the first of 3 planned Polaris missions. While few details have been released about the second, the third mission will be the first launch of SpaceX's Starship with humans on board. Okay, here now they're talking about the orbit, the high orbit. So they're going up like 800 miles or something, right? Most, like low Earth orbit, like the space station and all that, is just a little over 100, I don't know, 100 to 200 miles, something like that. You know, and like the SpaceX's their satellite constellation satellites and all that. Not SpaceX, but Elon Musk's thing. Those are really pretty low Earth orbit, and when you're in low Earth orbit, there's a few molecules of atmosphere up there, and after a period of time, they will slow down the spacecraft and it will eventually fall in. So spacecraft in low Earth orbit have to have some propellant in order to stay up there. They have to fire rockets to raise their orbit or speed or whatever to continue the orbit. And when they run out of propellant, unless they get up to a higher orbit, they fall to the Earth. That's low Earth orbit, really low. It's like right above the atmosphere. What we call it. There's no top to the atmosphere, right? It continues to get thinner and thinner and thinner all the way out into interplanetary space there. So, all right, let's see. It will need to It will need to design and test EVA suits, complete longer missions that mimic the time needed to get to places such as the moon and demonstrate an ability to communicate with Earth. Polaris Dawn's high-flying orbit will send humans further from Earth than they have been in more than 50 years. Okay, yeah, right, because we basically the moon. The moon missions. That's when they went higher up. But this is just orbiting high. This is a different deal. At its peak, Polaris Dawn plans to reach an orbit of more than 850 miles from Earth, 1,367 kilometers. That's more than twice the distance between Earth and the International Space Station. Yeah, duh. Which orbits 254 miles up. Okay, so that's 254 miles. Okay, so the space station is high enough up that it's not having so much of a problem with extra molecules of oxygen slowing it down so much. But I think they still have to use propellant. I think they still are using propellant to keep it flying. I think. I don't know. It's also the highest orbit humans have reached since the Apollo program, right? They just said that. Testing new suits. Perhaps more importantly, the spacewalk will test out SpaceX's new EVA suits. EVA, extravehicular activity. Developing these suits is perhaps one of the most difficult tasks to accomplish. Okay, so here's a picture. Oh, this picture I could actually put. This is a Creative Commons one. Whatever. NASA learned early on that spacesuits are incredibly tricky. They must provide life support and protection from the space environment while allowing astronauts to move about. This is particularly tricky as fully pressurized suits are bulky and hard to move in, leading to exhaustion. Okay, and they're just talking more about the spacesuit. Let's see if we got a charitable cause. What the heck is that? Polaris and Polaris Dawn are seeking to raise money for children's cancer research while also expanding SpaceX's capabilities for space exploration. As a tech billionaire, Isaacman, the guy who paid $55 million or whatever, has a long history of charitable giving. Like Isaacman's earlier Inspiration 4 mission, Polaris Dawn is also raising funds for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, in one case soliciting donations in return for Doritos chips especially developed for space. What? What? I don't know what that. Alright, so this is they're saying nice things about this Isaacman guy for a little bit here. And that's it, okay. Alright, so that's kind of interesting. Oh, let's see what they end here. It says, like many of SpaceX's activities, Polaris Dawn is ambitious, but it is necessary for the company's future plans. Before SpaceX can run to Mars, it must first walk, or spacewalk to be more precise. Okay. Alright, so that was, that's an interesting article. Polaris Dawn. There you go. So this is the. So that'll be cool to watch tomorrow morning, or I think it's morning. I don't know when it is. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Domestic violence cases. In domestic violence cases, police are more likely to make arrests when pets are abused, too. All right. Urban wildfires disrupt streams and their tiny habitats. Losing their insects is a warning of bigger water problems. So an environmental thing there. People with physical and mobility disabilities need to work out, but there are a lot of obstacles in their way. I can imagine that. What links aging and disease? A growing body of research says it's faulty metabolism. Okay, so see, these articles are not like, you know, what news that's happening right now. Most of them, they're like feature articles about stuff that's just kind of generally going on. You know, like a news, news magazine type of thing almost, rather than newspaper, I think. Coconut farmers for Harris. Okay, I don't care about that. U.S. is unlikely to stop giving military aid to Israel. because it benefits from it. Well, certain industries do, certain people do. Kamala's kicks. Okay. How organized labor shames its traitors. The story of the scab. All right. South Sudan's long-delayed election will be a landmark moment, but economic decline and political strife put vote at risk. Okay, let's look at that one. All right, this was in my title here because I saw this article and I wanted to learn about this, what was going on here. All right, so this is an article. So we're on theconversation.com is the website. The name of the article is South Sudan's long-delayed election will be a landmark moment, but economic decline and political strife put vote at risk. Okay, it was published on August 23rd. It's published by Abigail Gabandula, and she's a postdoctoral fellow in global governance and director of Africa Center, University of Denver. Okay, so she probably knows what she's talking about, right? And this article is Creative Commons released, no derivative. And the conversation has asked that we not display certain photographs, so I just disabled photographs completely in my browser. So now I'll just scroll through this article so that we can. It says no derivatives, so that means I have to publish the whole thing without any changes. So I'll just scroll through it here. See how long it is, and we'll just have every single word of this thing go out. Okay, this picture is a Creative Commons, so it's okay to have that one in there. And okay, so I did the whole thing. So I've complied with their requirements. Now we'll just go through it and see what we can glean out of it real quickly here. Okay, elections are a pivotal milestone in post-conflict countries, and nowhere is voter anticipation felt more keenly than in South Sudan, the world's youngest nation. Yeah, they just won independence in 2011. They were fighting with Sudan, big civil war there, civil war, and they got their independence from Sudan. Now they're South Sudan. Here, we'll go down to this thing and show a picture of it here. So this is the Horn of Africa, right? This is Africa. There's Africa, right? This is the Earth. There's Africa, and this little thing is showing this portion of Africa. So Somalia, you probably hear about them. Yemen, you've heard about them. This is the Arab Peninsula here, this up here. And this is Africa. There's Ethiopia, Sudan. So these guys were fighting. There's a lot of oil in Sudan and South Sudan. I wonder if that has anything to do with this. Probably not, huh? Nah. That was sarcasm, by the way. Chad, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo. That's a real big country here. And there's Congo, and then over there. Okay, so the coast of the west coast of Africa is over here. So that's what we're talking about. This is the area that we're talking about, and this is South Sudan, who broke away in 2011. So now they're trying to get their democracy going, and they've been, having some conflict there, and it happens when a new country. A lot of times when a new country tries to get started, and they're trying to get into democracy. A lot of times there can be interests that don't want democracy there. If you're a big oil company and you want to extract the resources from a country, you don't want to have to convince, millions of people to do what you want to do. It's a lot easier to install an authoritarian government where you just got one strong man who you bribe cheaply, just one guy that you bribe, and you can get their natural resources. So, without knowing that much about it, that's my first impression of what's going on there. So they in 2011 they got their independence, and they've been trying to get elections and haven't been able to do that because there's conflict. People who don't want them to have elections and want to fight over who knows what. Okay, so the date has been set for a national vote December 22nd. So come up here pretty quick. Yet the timing remains in question, with the United Nations and others doubting whether adequate preparations have been made. The proposed vote follows years of delays. An election was due to take place in 2015, but was postponed after the young country descended into a civil war. Right. The 2024 vote was poised. 2024 vote was poised. Oh, is poised, I think that should say. It's interesting. To shape the future of the country, still grappling with the challenges of peace, building, and governance. South Sudan entered a post-Civil War transitional period in 2018, yet sporadic, mainly intercommunal violence continues. The national vote offers a critical opportunity to consolidate a hard-won peace and chart a course toward a more stable and democratic future, but the country has failed to establish a robust electoral framework, critical for fair and credible polls, including constitutional, legal, financial, and political conditions to ensure the feasibility of holding a credible national ballot. Moreover, entrenched disagreements among political leaders threaten to exacerbate the situation. As a scholar focusing on global governance and human scrutiny in Africa, I share the concern that failure or delay in these electoral processes could lead to a perilous regression into conflict. Right? So this author here, Abigail Kabandula, she studies this pretty closely. So she's concerned that the election might not work out. So. Lack of funding. Okay, so that's a problem. It's hard for a country that is not used to having elections to get that going. It's not an easy thing to do. You gotta, the people have to. If people are not educated as to what democracy is and how it works and stuff, just the logistics of doing it and everything, it's a hard thing to do. One country that did it right, I think, was Bhutan. Bhutan is up between China and India, I think, somewhere up there. They're really high in the mountains. They're kind of isolated, and they had a kingdom for a long time, and the kings finally decided, yeah, we got to be a democracy now instead of a kingdom, instead of an autocratic type of thing. Which was nice, right? That doesn't happen very often. And they actually did it right. They practiced. They had practice elections, and he informed his people how to do what election was. And they had this mock election where they had, I don't know, red versus blue, or who knows what, yellow versus green, I don't know, kind of thing. And people practiced doing the election, and they talked about it, and I don't know where they're at now, but that was maybe a decade or so ago, where they were transitioning from a kingdom to a democracy, and it worked. But they were kind of a unique situation, right? They didn't have a bunch of oil that multinational oil companies wanted to get their hands on. They're up in a mountainous region that's been isolated for a long time, so they haven't had a lot of other countries invading them every 50 years or whatever and disrupting things. So it was easier for them to do it. This is a lot more difficult, where you've got this country here in the middle of Africa that's been colonized by different countries, and there's been just fighting, and it's just been very, very difficult. And they got oil. So all right, let's read a little bit more here. Successful elections could elevate South Sudan's international reputation by demonstrating political maturity and a commitment to democracy after years of instability. Yeah. Both regional and global actors have urged the government to hold elections promised under the 2018 revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflict in South Sudan. Amid implementation delays, a roadmap was endorsed in August 22 to guide the peace process in elections. Okay, in December 22, the government reconstituted key bodies, including the National Constitutional Review Commission and the National Electoral Commission, as a precursor to elections. Okay, so it seems like they're trying to do it right. They're trying to get the infrastructure going. However, both entities face financial challenges, with the National Constitutional Review Commission yet to receive any funding. Wow, that's tough. If you got zero money, yeah, that's hard to do anything with zero money. Yeah, I can tell you about that. How to do things with zero money. It's not easy. These financial problems are a major obstacle. While the National Electoral Commission and the Political Parties Council, a body tasked with promoting political dialogue and cooperation, have received some funding, it is insufficient for the full operations. International stakeholders, including the United Nations, African Union, and the EU, had expected the government to finance the elections, but ongoing delays have left international bodies advising and encouraging the government from the sidelines, concerned about the lack of progress. There we go. Oil revenue decline, economic hardships. Rich in oil resources, yet extremely poor. Now, how does that happen? I just explained how it happened, didn't I? South Sudan is currently confronted with a significant decline in its capacity to finance electoral processes. This decline stems primarily from a sharp reduction in oil revenues, compounded by economic hardships and a diversion of resources by the ruling elite. What'd I say? Right? So I hit it without even knowing what the thing was. It's pretty much a formula, it's pretty much how it goes, Diversion of resources by the ruling elite. Okay. So that's what's happening. And also a lot of times they don't have money because the international oil companies don't want that oil on the market, because the more oil that goes on the market, the lower the price is. It's supply and demand. So when a little country like that puts oil on the market, it lowers the price for everybody all over the whole market. The whole world market can be lowered, depending upon certain conditions. If the supply and demand are very tight. In other words, if there's a little more demand than there is supply, then the oil prices will go way, 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 way high. And all it takes is just a little bit of oil to be put on the market to stabilize that situation and give enough supply to meet demand, and then the price will go down a lot. So when that happens, when the demand is higher than the supply, that's a recipe for lots of conflict in these little countries that have oil that they could put on the market, because the international oil companies do not want that oil on the market, so they will disrupt those countries to prevent them from producing that oil. Let's see. Okay, here's some more background. At independence in 2011, and prior to the conflict that began 2 years later, South Sudan's daily oil exports stood at, what is that? 300, you get an extra zero in there. It's got to be 300,000 barrels. However, ongoing conflict and infrastructure damage have led to a steady decline in production, with current exports reduced to approximately 1,500 barrels per day. Projections indicate a continued halving of production roughly every 5 years. Factors exacerbating South Sudan's oil revenue decline include volatile global oil prices, International instability and poor quality crude oil. Okay, so their oil is not like sweet crude, stuff. That's okay. There's still a market for it. Prospective investors are further deterred by war-damaged oil wells and the logistical and political complexities associated with exporting oil through neighboring Sudan. Yeah, there's a big, when you get up to, up here, like here's, I'll show you the map. So here's Sudan, South Sudan, and then Egypt is up here. And there's huge pipelines leading from Egypt through the Mediterranean up into Europe and all over the place. So I imagine that's what they're doing, is they're trying to transport the oil from here through Sudan, who they had a conflict with before, to get to that distribution point in Egypt. That's probably what's going on there. Let's see what else they say here. Prospective investors are further deterred by war-damaged oil well. Oh, I just read that. Major oil export disruptions were noted after a disastrous rupture on the crucial pipeline responsible for ferrying landlocked South Sudan's crude oil to the Red Sea hub of Port Sudan for global export. Okay, so they're going out through the Red Sea there too, I guess. I thought they would go to Egypt, but I guess that would even be more complicated. The rupture occurred during fighting between Sudan's warring parties. Payment structure for oil proceeds dictates that private oil companies claim nearly 60% of production as their share, while neighboring Sudan also takes a significant portion based on agreements made during independence. Okay, so when they settled their conflict between Sudan and started out their own independence, they must have cut a deal with them to share their oil revenue. Consequently, South Sudan receives revenue only from approximately 4,500 barrels out of the total daily production, ranging from 150 to 170. It is from this limited allocation that the government funds 98% of the national budget. So 45,000 barrels. I don't know what the current price is of oil per barrel. You can figure this out, what their budget is, right, from that. And that's really, I mean, if they're getting 98% of their national budget from oil, that's, wow, diversify a little bit, Let's see. I don't know what the price of oil is. I just want to get a ballpark here. So it's ranged anywhere from 70 to 100, something like that. If it's 70 times 45,000 barrels, that's 3.1 million. And if it was 100, that would be $4.5 million per day. That's not bad. So what is that annually? Let's say it's 4 times 360. I don't know how you got to take some days off. So that's about that's over $1 billion, right? $1.4 billion per year. But that's getting to rust. So $1 billion a year. I guess that's not very good for a national budget, is it? Compared to a lot of other countries. All right, returns. Refugees pose humanitarian challenge. Additionally, the return of over 1 million South Sudanese since the signing of the 2018 peace agreement, along with thousands of refugees fleeing the conflict in Sudan, has further stressed the humanitarian challenges that the young country faces amid economic hardships. Yeah, when people get dislocated like that, it's a big problem. And we're going to have a lot of that, because of global warming. There's going to be more conflicts. There's going to be a lot of people having to migrate from place to place and from one country to another country. So, and I don't think the world's prepared for that. This includes South Sudanese who are severely affected by the ongoing conflict in Sudan since April 23. More alongside the humanitarian burden. There are still thousands of South Sudanese who remain in internally displaced persons camps, awaiting a safe return to their communities. Yeah, okay. Division among political kingpins. Okay, so she's naming names here. All right. Okay. Okay, talking about critical tasks such as the training and deployment of 33,000 security personnel remain unfinished, risking national stability. Sure, nationwide election security is paramount. Yeah, going back to the election, right? However, the absence of a unified national security force raises concerns about voter safety. Unlike other post-conflict African countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, where the international community facilitated elections, South Sudan's transition depends solely on its current transitional government, mandated to lead until December 24. So yeah, I don't know why. Other more wealthy countries should probably be helping them out with that. Get that right. Oh, Big Ducky Snow. I've really enjoyed lurking and listening to you, Dub. How's your stream been? Yeah, I'm talking to I'm on Twitch here, live on Twitch, and they have a chat facility where viewers can chat, and I can chat with the viewers and talk to them. And Big Ducky Snow is a friend of the channel here, and he says I've really enjoyed I've really enjoyed lurking. Okay, he's been watching this stream. Lurking, that's what they say. It just means watching, not typing in the chat for a while. And listening to you, Dub. How's your stream and day been? It's been pretty good, Stephen. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I just finished up this article here about elections coming up in Sudan in December, and how they're worried about it, and talked about how oil messes things up, and blah blah blah. You know, a lot of details about that stuff. And before that, in case anybody else has just joined the stream, I started this stream out talking about the weather. Then I talked about my local news station here, WMUR in New Hampshire, and how they cover the news and some of the things they talked about. Then I talked about Cornel West, how he is having trouble getting on the ballot in a lot of states, and how that's not very democratic, that the DNC is trying to keep him off the ballot. And then I went through, I got some emails from Reuters. I signed up for their news service. And so I talked about some of the stuff they were emailing me, just to give you a feel for, what they put out. Some of the things we talked about was Russia and, of course, the Middle East war, Canadian rail strike, some billionaire buying Paramount for a bunch of money, Disney trying to merge with somebody in India. So yeah, a lot of stuff, and the space station astronauts getting stuck because of the Boeing problem. So those were some of the things I talked to, and then I talked about, and then now I'm talking about going through this new news source that we're using here, called The Conversation. I really never heard of them before, and apparently they just kind of have a lot of guests, journalists, guest contributors to this website, and they make their articles available under the Creative Commons license, which is nice. So that's what we're just doing, is going through some of their articles. So we just talked about South Sudan. Now we're going to talk about whatever else we can find here. This is the Conversation and some of the things that they have on their website. So next article here is, no, the world isn't heading toward a new Cold War. It's closer to the grinding world order collapse of the 1930s. Okay, so that's an opinion piece from somebody at Tufts University. 4 ways, I don't even know what that is, Wissahickon Valley Park makes Philly more resilient against climate change. Okay. And then more. They have more. Yeah. Wait, there's more. You make our independent evidence-based journal. Okay, this is following the news. Oh, I see. They're trying to get... Okay, those are just ads, I guess. Election 24. I don't really care. I don't know. Rural voters. Hey, that's me. Rural voters don't necessarily love walls, despite the camo hat and small-town upbringing. I don't know anything about... I'm not even... I support the revolution. I don't support any of these candidates. I don't support the Democrats or the Republicans. We need a revolution. I want to take down everything. Get rid of anybody who's ever held office during this century and start over again. New constitution, from scratch. We got to start over. So I don't care. I'm not voting for any of them. Kamala Harris, she was on the committee during the pandemic. For those of you who don't know, the U.S. killed 1 million of their own citizens recently. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an act of nature. They killed them. They did it because they were trying to get... Well, I don't know what their motivation is. I assume it's because they were trying to make more money. Put people in hospitals and make money off of them. And sell drugs. So they killed 1 million Americans doing that. And in my opinion, I don't think a country that kills 1 million of its own citizens is legitimate, and we should bring it down. We should bring down the government. Peacefully, of course. Nonviolent, peaceful revolution. That's where I stand. Let's see, Big Ducky Snow. Okay, he's going back to lurking. Sometimes I still have a few things to do. Get ready for a trip to... All right. Sending much love and light and looking forward to checking out the VOD. Yeah, okay. I don't know if it'll get to YouTube or not. YouTube hasn't been putting my stuff up. I can't imagine how they could knock this one off for copyright. I've been very, very meticulous here, making sure I don't have anything that has copyright on it, but who knows. All right, next article. Most young voters support Harris. Voters are doing this. Okay, education, back to school. Back to school. Everybody's talking about back to school. Time poverty. Okay. In other words, busy. Right? Busy. Busy. If you're busy, it's not time poverty. You're busy. Everybody's got 24 a day, right? The mystic and the mathematician. What the towering 20th century thinkers Simone and Andy Weil can teach today's math educators. How to get your kids ready to go back to school without stress. 5 tips. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. 3 strategies to help college. Okay. Politicians step up attacks on the teaching of scientific theories in U.S. schools. Politicians. Okay. Yeah, we know about that. All right. And weather. Health and science. Squid teeth. Okay. AI pioneers want bots to replace human teachers. Here's why that's unlikely. Yeah, it's already happening. What are you talking about? Space missions are getting more complex. All right. Negotiating prices, 10 common prescription drugs. Okay. You might also like, as human population grows, people and wildlife will share more living spaces around the world. Okay, we don't know if that's going to continue or not. China leans into using AI. Okay, America's Iran policy is a failure. Los Angeles is in a 4-year sprint to deliver a car-free 28 Olympics. 75 years ago, the KKK. I don't want to read about the KKK. Most read this week. AI supercharges data center energy use. Most young voters, okay, doing a 7-nation prisoner swap. Okay, that was about the prisoner swap. Okay, so I think we got this. All right, so I think I covered everything that I had in my headline. So I covered my teasers. I hate that when local news does that all the time. They'll do teaser for something to try to get you to come back, or after the commercial break or whatever. And then they don't do what they said they were going to do. They don't have the teaser, So I did it. I kept my promise. I put in my headline here. I said astronauts stuck in space. We talked about that. I said who's buying Paramount. We talked about that billionaire guy. And elections in Sudan. We just talked about that. So we got all that covered. I don't know. I've been on almost 3 hours here. Do we have enough time for me to do the geography game? I guess we do, huh? I think we got enough time, right? I know what I'll do. There was a little video that I found that I thought was really cute, and so I want to play that. This is a video. It's called "Copying is Not Theft." There's an organization called questioncopyright.org, and they made little videos. There's I've run into trouble with YouTube. I think I mentioned it a lot of times, right? So I've been trying to search and see what people are doing about that, about copyright and how big large companies are using copyright to squash people's free speech rights. And so I looked into that, and there's some organizations out there trying to do stuff about it. And here's this one called questioncopyright.org, and they made a little video here that they released through Creative Commons. Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 unported is how they released it quite a long time ago. So this was an older Creative Commons license, but basically I can show it. It's not copyrighted or anything. So what I will do is I will try to play it here on right on the thing. It's just funny. All right, let me. Okay, it's coming up here. I think it will play. Let me play it a little bit here, just to see if it works, and listen. Okay, it's working. All right, so, oops, let's do this again here. All right, so I will play this. I'm gonna just play it and walk away and take a quick break while this plays. It's funny that they put this. That's ironic. That FBI warning thing. That's being satirical, right? For these guys are against copyright. They're against that. So that's like a satirical thing that they put up there. It said, "Do not copy this tape." Right? It's not a tape. It's an online thing. So I'll play this cute little video here for you guys while I go take a break, and then we'll talk about it.
Copying is not theft. Stealing a thing leaves one less left. Copying it makes one thing more. That's what copying's for. Copying is not theft. If I copy yours, you have it too. One for me and one for you. That's what copies can do. If I steal your bicycle, you have to take the bus. But if I just copy it, there's one for each of us. Making more of a thing, that is what we call copying. Sharing ideas with everyone, that's why copying is fun.
Okay, that was it, I guess. All right. So that was kind of cute, wasn't it? It makes it very, very easy for people to understand what the issue's about, right? When you copy something, you're not taking something away from somebody. Now, in all fairness, what they don't mention here is that the laws for a long time have been, I've had copyright, and people, like if some organization wants to make a movie, some company wants to make a movie, they will put money into that movie on an expectation that they will have an exclusive right to sell that movie to people. And if they create this movie and then people make copies of it for free, then each of those people, if those people would have paid money for the movie and got it instead for free, then that company is losing money under the current structure. So if they made that investment in that movie on the expectation that they would have an exclusive right to distribute the movie like that, then it's not fair to them to make copies of it, right? But if you change the law and you say, we're not going to do copyrights anymore, or we're going to make copyrights 2 years or something, then everybody knows, okay, we've got 2 years that we can sell it. Or they know that when we make this movie, we won't have exclusive rights. People will be able to copy it for free, and then they'll make their investments or organize themselves in such a way that with that expectation. So in all fairness, it's not fair to have a legal system and have an expectation that there will be a copyright and people develop stuff based on that, and then have people turn around and make copies. That's not right either, right? So that's kind of what they didn't say in that little video. Am I out of sync here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I'm a little bit out of sync. All right, well, I don't know how to fix that. All right, let me let's see if we can play the geography game here. I'll try to find that. Okay. I'll see if I can find a geography game here. And we'll play that again. And I'll explain what happened yesterday. Yesterday I screwed up on a geography game. And I thought it was the game. I thought the game... Here, I'll explain what happened. All right, let me bring this up here. Actually, let's see here. Yeah, that's right. All right. So what happened? Yesterday I played this thing, and I got to Serbia, and I made a mistake, and I hit Hungary instead of Serbia, and it just totally flabbergasted me. And I thought that I had hit here. Get here. Right. This is a geography game. They put up a name of a country, and then you're supposed to click on the map where the country is, and then they give you another country, and then you click, and that's how the game works. Right? And you just see how many you can get. And so Serbia came up, and I came over here, and some of these were filled in, and I came up and I hit Hungary, and it said, "Bah, wrong. That's not Serbia." And I said, "Oh no, what?" And then I clicked. I think I clicked Montenegro or Bosnia or something, and it just flabbergasted me totally. And I thought I had hit this one, Serbia. So I hit this one. I said, "Oh no!" And then I hit this one and this one. And in that process of me being, upset that I missed that, it kind of affected my memory, and I didn't remember correctly. I thought I had clicked this one, Serbia. So here I knew I clicked this one, and this one, and I thought I had clicked this one, and I knew this was Albania. I knew this was Kosovo and North Macedonia. So I said, God, which one can it be? And up here, I think I tried clicking Slovakia or Czechia or something too, but I knew that was Czechia and Slovakia. And I said, this has got to be Serbia, you know, and I thinking that I had already clicked it. And I was just really confused at what was going on there. And I said, oh, the game screwed me over. But it wasn't the game. No, it was me. I screwed up. So I missed, I think, 3 of them. I mean, you know, I clicked several of them here trying to get Serbia, but I think I missed 3 altogether. So, all right, let's see. We'll try again today and see how well I can do. Let me change my my title here so people know what I'm doing here. I'll change this to, you know, playing a geography game or something. I'll just, okay, playing world geography game. Okay, I think that's all I need to do. I don't know what category this is. There's probably a category for playing geography games, but I don't know what it is, so I'll just leave it at just chatting here. Okay, there we go. Playing world geography game. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to give it a shot here. Let me set this to 197 different ones. This is going to take a while. I guess that's part of it, right? To see how fast I can do it. That's part of the whole thing, right? So I don't know how long it's going to take. But we'll give it a shot. Here we go. I'll turn this on just to make sure this is still working. So what time are we starting here? 6:57 approximately. Okay, Ghana. That's over here. Did it work? I didn't hear anything. There we go. Okay, yeah, we got audio. All right. Okay, Taiwan, Iran, Bosnia-Herzegovina. We were just looking at that one. There it is. Benin, Nauru, Colombia, New Zealand, South Korea, Slovenia. That's Slovenia. Chile. Norway. Canada. Turkey. Liberia. Sudan. We were just talking about those. Malawi. Did that not? Why didn't I clicked it? It didn't go. What are we doing here? There we go. Luxembourg. United States. Haiti. Japan. Estonia. Tonga. Mozambique, Burkina Faso. Come on. Sometimes it takes a second. You can go too fast for this game. If you click them too fast, it doesn't click. So there's a limit. Solomon Islands. That's Solomon Islands, I think. Vatican City. Paraguay. All right, where am I at here? That's Paraguay, I think. Mali, Syria. That's Syria, I think. Latvia. Comoros. Lesotho. Eswatini. Oh, they're right next to each other. Yeah. Mexico. Uganda. I think that's Uganda. Albania. Greece. Those are right next to each other too. They make it easy for me. Marshall Islands. North Korea. Namibia. Cuba. Central African Republic. Togo. Romania. India. Pakistan. Grenada. Peru. Lebanon. I gotta zoom in for this one. UK. Iraq. Belgium. Samoa. That's way over here. San Marino. Suriname. Germany. Malaysia. Mauritius. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Australia. Belize. Madagascar. Rwanda. Republic of the Congo. Brazil. Senegal. Myanmar. Micronesia. Eritrea. Vanuatu. Ethiopia. Democratic Republic of the Congo. Come on, click. Palau. Armenia. UAE. Sao Tome and Principe. Singapore. Costa Rica. Dominican Republic. Indonesia. Slovakia. Mongolia. Sweden. Oman. Gambia. Go zoom in on that one. Belarus. Cameroon. Russia. Honduras. Kosovo. Guatemala. East Timor. Nigeria. Kyrgyzstan. See, that's Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan. I think that's Kyrgyzstan. Brunei. Burundi. Nope, different. It's down here. Niger. Cambodia. Liechtenstein. Finland. Bangladesh. France. Italy. Yemen. Cape Verde. Bahrain. Chad. Portugal. Denmark. Saudi Arabia. Barbados. Ireland. Libya. Moldova. I messed that one up before. Now I know where it is. Zambia. Argentina. Jordan. Bhutan. We were just talking about Bhutan. Bolivia. Philippines. Ecuador. South Africa. Dominica. St. Kitts and Nevis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not. Netherlands. Algeria. Vietnam. Zimbabwe. Morocco. Lithuania. Cyprus. South Sudan. Should know where that is. We just spent a whole bunch of time on that. Hungary. Thailand. Egypt. Tuvalu. Bulgaria. Equatorial Guinea. Georgia. Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica. Come on, click, click, click. Uruguay. Austria. Uzbekistan. North Macedonia. Kuwait. Czechia. Switzerland. Kenya. Poland. Papua New Guinea. Spain. Iceland. Come on. Santa Lucia. Israel. Sierra Leone. China. Djibouti. Seychelles. Turkmenistan. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Serbia. That's the one I screwed up. God, if I don't know where that is. Afghanistan. Antigua and Barbuda. Tajikistan. Malta. Ukraine. Maldives, I guess. I don't know. Maldives, I guess is what. Bahamas, Tunisia, Botswana, Croatia, Nicaragua, Ghana. Which is Ghana? I think that's Ghana. Yep, okay. Guinea. Angola. El Salvador. Nepal. Mauritania. Guinea-Bissau. Laos. Montenegro. Brunei. Tanzania, Gabon, Qatar, Somalia, Kazakhstan, Panama, Andorra, Sri Lanka, Fiji. Kiribati. Palestine. Monaco. Azerbaijan. Ivory Coast. There we go. So it's 10, 7, 10. So what is that, about 12 minutes or something? 14 minutes? I forget. When did I say I started? So that was pretty good, and I didn't miss any of them. All right, I'm proud of myself. Oh, let me catch up on chat here. Sending much, okay, Big Ducky Snow says, sending much love and light and looking forward to checking out the VOD. Oh, wait, I already read that one, right. All right. Well, that was good. I feel better about that than I did than the one I did yesterday. Because I got them all, and I did it, and I think in like 14 minutes, something like that. All right. So, that was the news, and I played a game to help clean our palate. Do I have enough? I don't have enough viewers here to rate anybody, I don't think. Yeah, no, we're not going to rate. All right, so everybody, thanks a lot for joining us. What was this? This was spinning some part of the time. The sun's down now. It's after 7, so the sun is set over the hill here. So no more air purifying. No. All right. Great. So did the news, played the game, did the thing, checked out that new website, theconversation.com. So that looks interesting. We'll be able to use that in the future. Cornel West talked about his thing. So, talked about the weather. Turns out we didn't get any big thunderstorms here, so don't know what that's about, but sometimes they get it wrong, you know. All right, so everybody take care, and I think the next stream is on Wednesday. Maybe I'll do a secret stream on Tuesday. I don't know. Bye-bye.
Go. First thing we climb a tree, and maybe then we talk, or sit silently and listen to our thoughts, illusions of someday, cast in a golden light, no dress rehearsal. This is our life. And that's where the hornet stung me, and I had a feverish dream with revenge and doubt. Tonight we smoke them out. You are ahead by a century. You are ahead by a century. You are ahead by a century. There in the morning shroud, and then the day began. I tilted your cloud, you tilted my hand. Rain falls in real time, and rain fell through the night. No dress rehearsal, this is our life. The night when the hornet stung me, and I had a serious dream with revenge and doubt. The night we smoked them out. You are ahead by a century. 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 And disappointing you is getting me down. Hydrate or drive, absolutely. That is good. Dihydrogen oxide. That is very, very good. Dihydrogen oxide.